Statistically, your home is going to be sold through a buyer's agent whose buyer found it online and brought it to the attention of their agent as a property of interest. That same buyer, however, used free online tools to find out not only what it looked like, but also when you bought it. They used these tools to find out what you paid for your house. They probably even calculated what your maybe resulting loan balance is today. Interestingly, that same buyer generated all this data, all this research on your house, but they did it for all houses of interest there in the area and turned that information over to their buyer's agent. Wow. Wow. Because of the ease of online information today, it's said that this level of research, these free online tools, it's actually created a buyer that is objectively more knowledgeable of fair market value than the sellers of the homes themselves. Yeah, wow. And if that's the case, that's kind of scary. Fortunately, to combat this high tech logic based type of an approach, all you really do need is just good old fashioned common sense. So what I've done is I put together my top six selling tips. I keep folks more in control of their sales moving forward. So let's get started. Number one, to offset again that huge knowledge curve that's going to be brought to the negotiation table with these buyers, these knowledgeable buyers agents, I recommend working just with a top listing agent with tons and tons of experience in many different markets. It's going to be this experienced listing agent that is going to obviously realize that, sure, yeah, they've got the data, they've got number crunching, in spades. How do you combat that? It would be that agent that realizes that they can go ahead and kind of neutralize the stats simply by taking a subjective marketing approach. So their marketing plan may be more of what it would like to feel to live in your neighborhood. That agent's going to have the buyer be able to kind of focus on what it would like to feel to own your home. And it's extremely effective. Sure, I mean, negotiations are logic driven. That's true, but the decision to make an offer is largely emotionally driven, and it's going to be that experienced agent that's going to be able to convey that. So uh, this agent should be easy to research. They should have a lot of clientele, a lot of testimonial letters that can let how these people that are now in the shoes that you're in right now, how they were treated, as well as the team that is able to assist them from getting prepped to completely through the close of escrow. So that shouldn't be an issue right there. Looking to the next number two, it would be naturally price. Obviously, price. You've got to not only price it right, but you have to price it right from the very beginning. Gone are the days when you think you can overprice, then maybe just back off a little bit and change it to a lower price and expect that the buyers are going to be willing. They're going to be pursuing other new listings with more motivated sellers. So you need to price correctly from day one. Looking at pricing, obviously, it can be a complicated issue, and it does go back to that whole data driven environment that we're in. You have the Zillows and the Realtor.coms, the Redfins. They're what's called AVMs or auto valuation methods, and they're computers, they're number crunchers. It's all aggregate, and they do a fantastic job at that. However, in order to combat that, you really do need to have a comparative market analysis that can do more than numbers, more than just count square footage and days on market and such. We use a smart CMA program that looks at 30 different um, uh, values in order to go ahead and create what would essentially be the list price, sales price. Here in our market, essentially, it's 100%, so that would be about the same. What it's able to do is, again, put a valuation towards views. Like that same data driven buyer, they don't know what it would feel like, or they don't know the story behind the view of the window over the kitchen sink. And there's value to that. And it would be not only that experienced agent, but using a smart CMA product to go ahead and be able to kind of quantify that. Looking at CMAs, again, the integration of the story into the actual value, the story of the seller and the motivation. These are things that are beyond the aggregate capabilities, and it would be the story integrated into that CMA that's going to give you the best overall value, the ability to go ahead and list it correctly and get your home sold honestly for top value. Okay. Number three on the selling tips would be a professional home inspection. Yeah, true. It's going to cost you upfront out of pocket. However, the home inspection is going to likely reveal items that should be fixed prior to listing the home, even prior to taking pictures of the home, to have an opportunity to go ahead and take care of any health and safety issues so that they're essentially a non-issue when it comes time for the buyers to come through, perhaps even with their own inspector. It not only keeps homes in escrow, it allows for cautious buyers to feel more comfortable about offering more money, especially in a competitive bidding environment. So the notion of a professional home inspection for sellers, I think, is a very good idea. Next would be similar to that, because the professional home inspection does reduce buyer concern. It Another way that you can remove buyer doubt is to go ahead and provide a 1-year home warranty at the close of escrow. The beauty here is that the 1-year home warranty does not have to be paid out of pocket up front. It can be paid for out of the proceeds of sale. The beauty of it, again, would be that whereas it doesn't cost you up front, but you can sure market it up front, put it actually in the marketing remarks so that a cautious buyer would understand that if they're successful in buying your house, if something does happen, something missed happens, maybe a furnace goes out on the 3rd month of ownership, it's not going to cost $5,000. It's going to cost all of $100 for a service call, and everything's going to be taken care of on the back end. There's value to that. I do highly recommend a 1-year home warranty to be paid. Next would be number 5, high definition photos with captions, written captions under every one of the captions. Again, with that story-driven, eye-catching MLS presentation. There's no reason today, folks, no reason why you can't have impeccable marketing, world-class marketing. Technology is available. They're available to do these tasks for you if you're willing to pay up front. And they're expected. Let's be frank. So looking at that, what's that old adage? You have one shot for a good first impression. You've got maybe a second to create that first impression, that first photo in your marketing. So not only does that first one need to be just brilliant, but the second one, the third one, and so on. In fact, today's MLSs are capable of actually loading up maybe 75 pictures. Some of them actually load up unlimited pictures. My concern is, you need to be able to go ahead and deliver those pictures in a particular format, whether you're telling the story or whether you're, for example, Home Again, we do 2 series. The first series of photos is the first 25, which is the best of the best. And then we come back with a second series of 50 that essentially go ahead and kind of recreate the they use the captions under the 50 to go ahead and build value, to build familiarity, as well as to go ahead and remove buyer doubt. It's actually kind of brilliant how it works out. And I bring it up because, say you have a buyer that they're looking at a particular property on acreage because they want a garden, and this particular home has a wonderful garden. But then the gentleman, he's interested in the 3-car garage. However, the listing agent has put the garden as photo number 62, and the picture of the garage is picture number 73 out of 75. Well, you run the risk of losing those buyers simply because perhaps you didn't focus on those early enough, because they have to look through an onslaught of many pictures that may not be of interest than what actually presented the property interest to them initially. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. The next would be number 6. So far, it kind of sounds like I presented this kind of dichotomy. There's like an adversarial relationship between knowledgeable buyers and these sellers that are scrambling trying to get their home sold correctly. It's not that, and it's not as if technology is the problem. It's not. I would like to suggest something a little bit more simple, actually. The At issue between today's buyers and sellers is not technology. It's simply, in my opinion, just good communication. It's going to be a listing agent, a buyer's agent's ability to go ahead and address and resolve issues from day one. Again, the importance of that educated, I should say, knowledgeable listing agent. It's going to be the ability to communicate, not when things are going kind of neutral, because all transactions aren't perfect, and that's my point. That's my point. It's going to be during those times where the experienced agent is going to be able to keep everybody moving forward together towards close. It's going to be that experienced agent that has maybe dealt with that issue multiple times successfully in the past, and they're going to be able to go ahead and bring out that ability to go ahead and do it one more time. It's crucial, the communication, which is why communication would be my tip number 6 as far as my selling tips. A real estate transaction can actually be a very, very positive experience. I mean, take a look at my testimonial letters. But it's the needed communication at a specific time that keeps things together, and that's what I want you to go ahead and look for as you interview agents. Continue to interview agents until you can find that agent that you get the impression that can successfully communicate something that's going to be so very important to you, and that would be the selling of your own home. These are my top selling tips. There's 6 of them. I did do a follow-up video called Top 8 Showing Tips. In that, I talk about 3 things. The first thing would be what would cause buyers to remain in your home longer, what would cause them to feel very, very comfortable upon arrival, and then as well as what would cause them to remove buyer doubt. I think you'll like it. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.